This is TWiT.
All right, so first things first, this phone is also in the lower end category, let's say. It's right around 200. Oh man, I apparently dropped the price of the device out of my notes, but it's right in the 200, 220 if I'm not mistaken, price category. But it's a battery focus. The max in the title refers to the 5,000 milliamp hour battery, so it's even more battery than what you're getting in the Nokia 2. But it has better internal and external specs. 5.5-inch IPS, Snapdragon 430 this time, 3 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of storage, dual 13 megapixel rear-facing camera, regular and wide angle. So you've got two different cameras on the back. It doesn't do the DSLR kind of like bokeh style photos, but it does have a close and then a wide angle camera to differentiate between. Android 7.1.1, no USB-C. This is straight up USB underneath, and ultimately, this is a really great battery phone. It's kind of similar category of this. I would say, from a design standpoint, I was pretty impressed. It's made with pretty much all metal and glass materials, and it's kind of rounded. Even on the screen, has a nice rounding. It's one of those phones I feel like that proves how far we've come in the last couple of years on boosting up the quality of the low and the mid-end mid-tier devices, kind of taking the things that a few years ago were differentiating premium devices and moving that into the low end, so you don't feel like you're getting a really crummy phone when you spend $200. This one feels pretty nice. The performance isn't the best on certain things. It slows down when you're installing apps. It's heavier multitasking load. Sometimes hopping between apps with multitasking quick switch button isn't as fast as you might expect it to be. And even some parts of the Asus launcher, which here, let me get to the launcher here. There we go. Some aspects of this in daily use would kind of get a little heavy and slow down, and it seems fine right now. But you can skin all that, right? Throw a different app on there and you're good to go. The display I feel like is perfectly fine. It's 1080p display. It's not insanely bright in sunlight, but I felt like it was doable. It doesn't do the blue tint thing, I'll just say that when you look at it, but it's a different type of technology anyway, so that probably doesn't matter that much. Speaker's kind of weak. I don't know. What else is there to say? Battery's really great. I feel like it's a pretty decent phone for the price. Asus ZenFone 4 Max. And they have a bunch of other phones that are in this family that are going to come out over the next couple of months. This one focused on battery. There's some that are focused on selfies. I think they have one called the Selfie, the ZenFone Selfie or something, and different focuses on all of them. There's a pro version, so
but
we'll
UI though.
What's that?
UI, but user interface though.
What about the user interface?
What about it?
I mean, it's no.
I feel like I want to hear more about it actually from Ron when we get to his little section.
I see what I see where you're going. Yeah. Okay. So Ron has an associated device. I personally don't care very much for the Asus UI.
That's the only that's the hard part for me. It's like, oh, great pricing, great specs.
Yeah, but the UI can be skinned. That's what I mean. Like you just throw a launcher on there.
I mean, does it make sense to migrate into my product?
Go for it.
Yes. So as we talked about a couple of weeks ago, my Nexus 9 finally died, not because it got bricked or because security updates, but because the power connector no longer works. Thank you to everyone on Twitter, by the way, who's reached out offering to fix it. It's okay. I know when it's time to move on. It's fine. I appreciate it, though. Everyone, you're very, very nice. It was really cool to hear other people have run into that and have fixed it themselves by soldering it and stuff like that. That's very cool. But I picked up the Nexus ZenPad 3S10, and I've been using it for the past couple of weeks, and I've been putting it through its paces because in the past couple of weeks, I've been reading a lot of comics and books on it. I've been watching a lot of TV at the gym on it. I even went on vacation last week. I was on the show. I was sitting by the beach reading books and watch TV shows while I was on the plane. So I pretty much put it through its paces. And hardware wise, this tablet is great. I mean, it is fast. It's got a lot of storage. It's got an external SD card. So if I wanted to load up more stuff, if I had a long flight ahead of me, I totally could do that. The display is bright and strong. You know, a lot of times the tablets I had a hard time with audio boosting because like I'd be watching a TV show and the audio, I'd have the volume cranked all the way up and the loud Jim, it wouldn't cut through, but the audio here is crystal clear. It's great. The only downfall to it has been the UI, which was as soon as I opened it up, I was like, oh. And in using it, I'm like, well, this isn't that great. I don't really like it. But someone on Twitter actually made the recommendation to just install the Google Pixel, the Google Now launcher, and use that as the home launcher. And once I did that, everything's been fine.
Yeah.
You know, like, and really the only, like, if I pull the notification shade, it's still in the Asus UI kind of skin. But that's the only time I ever interact with it at all. So, you know, I've got the Google search bar up top. You know, everything looks familiar, looks about the same. If I swipe right, I get Google Now, which is cool on the tablet side of things, and it just works. And honestly, I haven't skipped a beat since I've moved on from the Nexus 9. So
nice.
You know,
yeah. So I was gonna say, get your hands on it, and first step you do is install a new launcher, and then you're good.
Sorry about that, Ron. I just wanted to say that I am really pleased that you had a great experience with this because I feel like that's what I really enjoy about the Samsung tablets. It's just really nice hardware, you know, and at least with like some other launcher on there, it's fine because it's a tablet device. It's not your primary device. If you're using it for mostly like entertaining, you can deal with that notification shade not looking like every other notification shade, you know, and you get nice hardware, which is something that Google hasn't really delivered. I mean, yes, we had the Pixel.
And the best thing of all is that you get nice hardware. I paid $270, I think, for this.
Okay. Yeah,
the price point. Like I was looking at tablets, and I first looked at the Pixel, the old Pixel, and I was like, nah, that's too expensive. It's still over $500. I looked at the Samsung, $400. Yeah. You know, and now that the NVIDIA Shield is kind of gone, I couldn't really find it to buy it on Amazon at least. This at $270 or $275 is great. Like it's a great price point.
Yeah, you got a fingerprint sensor in there.
Yeah, the fingerprint sensor works.
Quick charge.
Yeah. Pop it in your bag, and you've got a little entertainment machine.
Well,
I got a great little cover for it that makes it look like a little portfolio. It's so it does. You know, even though I used to have my Dodo case, and then I went to Portenzo to get the one that makes it look like a book. I really like that, but I'm going to email Portenzo to see if they'll make one for me for this. But this one, this works fine, and it's got a little cutout for the camera. Not that I ever use the camera, but it's this tablet. Like now, people ask me, what tablet should I get? This is what I'm recommending. This is a great tablet.
Right on.
Nice.
That's great. That's the Asus ZenPad 3S10. Filling in the void because there are not a lot of tablets on the market, Android tablets on the market at this point.
And I heard from a bunch of people on Twitter who also have this, and we're glad that I was talking about it because they've been really enjoying it. I haven't heard a single person say, yeah, it was a stinker, I returned it, or anything like that. Everyone has been like, yeah, I do not regret this purchase. So like, thumbs up.